what it takes. Sat Nam, everyone. I'm Elsie, and you see here we also have Mukta. We are here to answer questions about SuperHealth and our immersion training, which will be in February and March this year. I'm excited to be here. If you do have questions, actually, good idea. Mukta, why don't you introduce yourself really quick?
Hi there. My name is Mukta Khalsa, and I am the director of SuperHealth. Glad to be here with you today.
So, if any questions come up for you during this question and answer session, let us know in the comments, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, because either way, chances are we might not be able to see your comment because we're streaming through StreamYard live. And then on the recording, we can always come back and answer those questions for you. So use the comments, please. I think that's really it. Mukta, are you ready to start
Okay,
answering
here we go.
questions?
All right.
Okay. So our first question was about whether or not the immersions are all the same. So Degtera was wondering if, since she's already coming, she's coming in 2022, can she then attend in 2023 and learn new content, new things in conjunction with what may be kind of always in the training? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I love that she's thinking that far ahead about 2023. So that's fantastic. To address her question, and basically, SuperHealth is going through a great transition in terms of the makeup and the system of how things are, whether they're face-to-face in person or the online version or under replay. So we are working toward having an evergreen model. But that being said, yes, there are some things that are very set. You know, of course, the yoga, the meditation, we do that daily. Those things are given. In addition to that, if there are new, let's say, new drugs on the scene or something is trending and problematic, then we do try to address that in the most recent training. And with the evergreen model, perhaps we'll have an add-on or like an amendment that will have just that current material. So, because I think it's important to stay current with the times too. So that's generally in response, but there are some things that are very, very standard. And then there are other things that with that standardization, we will provide updated information that could be available to you in perhaps a different format.
Absolutely. That was perfectly said. And we have had people retake the course more than once.
It's interesting. Many people, several, many have taken the course more than once, which I find that very fantastic. And they just want to go a bit deeper. And we are hearing that they have a very different experience and deeper, more profound. So we do have several people that take it twice and even 3 times.
It's pretty awesome how that works. You can keep going deeper. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule. So we know it's over 3 alternating weekends. We've been sharing that a lot. But what do you actually do during that schedule? And what if you can't make it live?
Okay. All right. So it is every other weekend. So you have time to digest and process all that you're going through. And for the staff as well, the teachers as well. But it starts now, this is mountain time in New Mexico. So it starts at 7 a.m. and it will go until 3 p.m. We have 1 hour for lunch or breakfast, whatever time it is for you, around 10:30. It's a 1 hour break. And then we have at least a 15-minute break in addition to that in the morning segment, and then as well in the afternoon segment. We do have a lot of varied movement as well as sitting still, meditating, or more didactic, academic kind of sessions. So it's a great blend. It's mixed up with moving, with being still, with the yoga, with using your brain, your academics. And then at the same time, if somebody misses a session or even sometimes a day, depending on people's schedule, everything is recorded and it is available at the end of each day. Sometimes people have to miss a session, for instance, if they live on the other part of the world and it's just too late. So they go to bed, and then when they wake up in the morning, that recording should be there. They have the chance to listen to that before they come on again. So it's really well coordinated, and we've been getting very good feedback about that.
It is. And another thing I wanted to point out is that we're in the big group sometimes, and then we are in smaller groups sometimes, and even one-on-one sometimes. Even though it's on Zoom, we still have the ability to use those breakout rooms and get into the smaller groups as well.
Right. And we're finding that with, so many things online now, people really crave that more intimate time with the small groups, that
Yeah.
they get a chance to meet each other, perhaps with 5, 6, 7 people, but more intimately, and they get to know each other. And that seems to be even more popular than during the face-to-face small group breakout. Sometimes we'll also have a separate room set aside for the lunch hour that people could just go in there and talk and meet each other. So that's effective too. It's
That's
cozy
really
too.
cool.
It's cozy.
That's really cool. Okay, let's talk about since you brought up lunch, and we know that nutrition is a big part of SuperHealth and the SuperHealth system. How has that worked online? How have people how do you teach and how do we learn the nutrition aspect?
Right. Well, when we converted the course from face to face to online, the nutrition, and not the nutrition, the material, but actually, eating the foods and the juices and that whole experience was the one thing that was a little bit, questionable. How are we going to do this? So what we did, we have an excellent, well put together video on the whole nutrition aspect. And then we have a juice segment at the same time. So we will give forewarning the week before and let you know that, okay, next time we meet, we're going to have the juicing segment. So a person has a few options. They could either juice together with the video juicing, or they could do it beforehand and come with their mixture of juice already there. And then, or they could just listen in and again, listen to it at a later time, more thoroughly and more deeply. But so let's say, for instance, they come with a glass of juice. We go through, the whole principle about chewing your juice and rotating it around the mouth, the whole science about digestion, assimilation, the metabolism. And so they have that full experience. They're doing it with us. So we found that that was as close as we could get. And again, the feedback we were getting was really good. People did come with their juice, and they actually had that experience. So everything but actually serving it to you, it goes pretty well. And we provide all the diets, all the formulas, all the therapeutic juice blends, all that is available. So you really have everything.
Great. I have one question that came
Mhm.
up. What
Sure.
if somebody doesn't have a juicer? What
Okay.
do they do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of options. If you don't have a juicer, you could either use, if you have a Vitamix or a high power blender, you could put some fruits and vegetables are easier to blend and juice than others. For instance, something like a cucumber. That would be fairly easy because it's so watery. Something more solid like a beet or even a carrot, that would be a little bit more difficult. But you could try with a high power blender or certainly a Vitamix. You could try to put some water in there and see if that will juice it. Otherwise, a lot of these things now are available in the store. You could purchase it. So I know, years ago, nobody really had this stuff available in their stores, but it's a little bit easier now. And I think that that's also another option.
I agree. Yep. You can get a juicer, or you can actually probably go to a place that makes juice and
Yeah,
order
and
that
have them
specific
do
juice.
it. Yeah, or have them do it
Yeah.
fresh prepared.
What about how much time outside of the live interactive portions does this training take? How much like homework is there?
Right. Okay, so there is homework on the back end. I know that word is kind of overstated, but basically there's one segment that is a multiple choice 36 question, and all the questions it's like an open book because you have these two wonderful manuals and everything is in there. All the answers are right there. So if there's something that you're not sure of, you just look that up. So that's an open book. And then the other segment is curriculum development. So we will ask, for instance, just to think about if you were presenting a 1 hour course or a lecture to somebody on SuperHealth, what would that look like? Just an outline. And the same thing all the way through to a 6 week course. Again, we provide samples before, so it's quite easy. It's not so scary, and it's user friendly. The manuals are great. Everything is right there, and like I said, we do provide samples, so it's pretty easy.
Okay,
With
and
that,
that's
yeah. So with that, then each person will get a certificate. So if you are, let's say, a certified Kundalini yoga teacher, you'll get a certificate of completion, which will enable you to teach the super health. You're not a trainer, but you can teach. We've done this curriculum development. We provide samples as well. So it's easy to get started. If you are a healthcare practitioner, not necessarily a yoga teacher, you'll also get a certificate, and this will enable you to integrate some of these practices into your treatment protocol with your patients. So for instance, there are several meditations or even the juicing concept or some nutrition that you pick up. You can use these things even individually and integrate that into your treatment protocol for your treatment plan with your patients and clients. So it's very user friendly.
that's perfect actually, because that was one of the questions. Is how to integrate what we're learning in super health into our practice. And if you have specific questions about your own practice, you can comment and we will get back to you with how people have integrated super health into that type of specialty.
Mm-hmm.
Going
That,
back, oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I'm saying, the times that we're living in is so stressful with so much uncertainty. And it's a fearful time. I mean, with this uncertainty, people don't know what's going to happen, what their next day is going to look like. And so it brings a tremendous amount of stress in people's lives. So as many people as we can get trained and serve on the front line of these problems, if nothing more than just overstressed, overtaxed. People are experiencing insomnia, fatigue. They're not with themselves. They're having a really, really hard time. So anything that you learn that is going to be a wonderful thing to share with someone else. So it's really, really important and desperately needed, especially during these times.
I so agree. Really quick, so between the weekends, is there homework to do between the weekends, or is the coursework you were talking about after you finished and then you put together those presentations?
Yeah, it's after you finish. Yeah. So
Okay.
during that off weekend, we want you just to relax and just sometimes people will take a look at the manual and see it's quite in depth. I mean, each page is just chock full of invaluable information in the teachings. So,
Yeah.
but we want people just to relax and not have to really deal with it.
Okay. I think that's a big question because everyone's time is pretty valuable. We know that.
Mhm.
So
Right.
now you know it's the weekends and then there's a little extra coursework afterwards to get your certification, but you'll know exactly what to do. So not
Right.
too
But so
hard.
much of the course is also experiential
Yeah.
because it's really only in your experience do you come to know. And therefore, when you share some aspect of what you have experienced with another person, it comes from a place of great depth and impact. And that person will know that you're authentic, they'll know you're real, and more likely for them to trust you. If they trust you, they're more likely to do what you're suggesting, a particular breath, a meditation, or whatever it is that you're recommending. They're more likely to do that because that trust is there.
So true. So true. Do you have any last I don't I don't see any of the comments. So if anyone commented, we will get back to you. I don't see them through StreamYard. But Mukta, do you have any last thing that you'd like to add?
Yeah, just to know that, if any or all parts of this just ring true in your heart, just really contact us and, we will work together with you to, make that happen. Sometimes people think, oh, I don't have the funds, I can't afford it, I lost my job or whatever, and that's real. We understand that, but to keep in mind that money is the medium, and it follows the heartfelt prayer of the one who is devoted. So, with the longing in your heart, if any of this rings true to you, just reach out, give us a call or email, and we'll talk with you, and we'll make it happen. It's a mutuality. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm going to throw our email in the chat super quick. It's support@super-health.org. So feel free to contact us there anytime, or you can send a DM to us, and I or Siri Dharma will probably get back to you, and we'll start that dialogue with you. All right.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much for being together with us. And again, Super Health is a family. So we will look forward to meeting you hopefully soon or sometime in the nearby future. Satnam.
And early bird discount is done on the 11th, which is this Thursday. So they're $300 off right now. So
Yeah. So again, just to be really sensitive, all you need to do is put down $350 deposit, and that will hold even your early bird discount. So again, we try to do, whatever we could think of to make it easy, so it's not an additional strain in people's life. So it's easy and
yeah.
workable.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Mukta, for your time. This has been awesome. You're so wonderful. So this is
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you. Same to you. Okay.
All right.
Satnam.
Satnam, everybody.
Satnam.